What is up, YouTube? We are back with another video. This week's video, we are in Tennessee, just south of Nashville for an install here. Huge install. We got 1,800 Silky Willow 2-foot cuttings to plant, and then 600 2-foot hybrid Willow trees to plant. This week, follow along in this whole video, this whole transformation of this property. The whole main goal of this project is to block off their road side from people driving by through this driveway for an easement just north of here. So they use this property a lot for hunting, so we want to screen that off, make sure the deer feel secure and safe in these food plots here. And then the hybrid willow is going to give a lot of height where the driveway may be higher than the food plot areas. So stay tuned. So I'm going to jump in here and do a couple voiceovers throughout the video just to further explain exactly what is going on in the video. I did a poor job last year videotaping, so this year I'm going to be emphasizing more and explaining as we are completing the project. But for now, I am going to be doing a lot of voiceover and explaining as the video proceeds. We were getting nervous with this initial first line because we were hitting a lot of rocks with both our ripper and our tiller. So we were getting very nervous that the rest of the property was going to be like this. And you'll see further on in this video that there's a couple spots where we just had to dodge with the fabric and the cuttings because it was just simply too rocky to plant the trees and shrubs. As you notice, all the massive surface rock structures we were going to have to deal with on the north side. We were getting nervous for when we were going to do that north line. And the ripper did a great job at loosening the soil 6 to 10 inches below the surface. And then the tiller created a nice soft bed for us to lay the fabric flat and have nice loose dirt to plant the cuttings. We were blessed with a nice rainfall overnight one night, and it really saturated the ground for us, which was perfect for planting the new cuttings. There was still some standing water on the fabric the next morning. Notice we started with the hybrid willow line at the edge of the drip line of the existing mature trees. The reason we did that is you're going to have higher growth rates and more moisture in the surrounding soil because those larger trees aren't able to suck the moisture out of the ground if we were to plant them closer. So if it is an option for you guys on your property, I would try to keep the new shrub line away from the existing tree line if possible. If not, you'll just experience slower growth, but they will still be able to grow. We installed a Tora Aqua Traxx drip tape with 1-foot emitters. This customer could water hundreds of feet from one central location with a large water tote, and everything was gravity fed without a pump. It's very inexpensive fittings and is easy to lay out and install. Moisture can be added underneath the fabric with ease without manually watering individual cuttings. I would suggest using this in drier, sandier soils with longer lines because it can be gravity fed for a long ways. edges of the fabric every 5 to 6 feet on both sides, and then come back through the middle and place a staple in between the gaps to lock in the fabric, because after you plant the cuttings, you do not want that fabric to blow up, because it is a huge pain to try to replace the fabric once the cuttings have been planted. We usually cut a 3" by 3" X in the fabric for our trees and shrubs to have enough room to grow and establish properly. After year 3 to 5, you may have to walk along and make a larger X as the base of the tree or shrub expand over time to give them enough room, because you do not want the fabric to waft on that new cutting, and you'll have to give it more room once it starts to expand its root system and the base of the trunk or the shrub base. Something really cool about this property was back during the Civil War, this stone wall was actually hand built for both during battle and then also as a pathway for moving troops during the Civil War. So that was pretty cool to see all the hand stones laid out. Overall, it was a pretty awesome relic to see. After creating the pilot hole with our dibble bar, for our larger cuttings, we like to use a rubber mallet and tap in the cutting. It makes it much easier to plant those thicker cuttings. Now, if you have a smaller diameter cutting, typically with the shrubs, you will not be able to use a rubber mallet, as it will snap the cutting in half once it starts to go into the ground. As you can see, this area was a little more rocky, so we placed the smaller rocks after the walkthrough right at the end and placed them back on the fabric because the customer will be mowing alongside the fabric to keep the weeds down and not competing for sunlight with the new cuttings. So we want to make sure that his mower does not pick up and kick out these rocks that were kicked up from our tiller. The larger ones were removed with a bucket and placed off-site. We added another line to this area and put it right underneath the blind. When the Silky Willow shrubs mature, that blind will most likely be covered and will allow access without spooking deer year-round. We left a gap in the fabric here because this is where all of the flooding happens when they get torrential rainfall. So we didn't want to plant trees or shrubs in this gap here with the fabric because with the water flow so severe in this specific spot, it would tear the fabric apart. So we left it without the fabric and just planted our trees and shrubs, and then the customer would just come and weed around them manually.